أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Surah Al Baqarah, the cow. The name and the number of verses. According to the hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the reports relating to his blessed companions, the name of this surah is Al Baqarah. The riwayah or narration which prohibits this name is not authentic. Ibn Kathir. It comprises of 286 verses, 6201 words and 25,500 letters. Ibn Kathir. The period of revelation. The surah is Madinat, that is to say, it was revealed at Medina after the Hijrah. Some of the verses included here were revealed at Makkah at the time of the last Hajj of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in accordance with the terminology of the commentators, they too are regarded as Madinat. This is the longest surah in the Holy Quran. It was the first surah to be revealed at Medina, but different verses were revealed at different times, covering quite a long period, so much so that the verses with regard to riba, interest or usury were revealed in the last days of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the conquest of Makkah. Actually, the verse وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ, fear the day when you will return to Allah, is the very last verse of the Holy Quran to be revealed. This happened on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, 10 after Hijri, when the Holy Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam was in the course of performing his last Hajj. At only 80 or 90 days later he departed from this world, and the process of divine revelation came to an end forever. The merits of Surah Al Baqarah. It is not only the longest surah in the Holy Quran, but also contains quite a large number of injunctions. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, make a habit of reading the Surah Al Baqarah. For reading it brings down on you the barakah or blessings of Allah, and neglecting it is a matter of regret and a misfortune, and man of falsehood cannot overcome it. Al-Qurtubi cites the blessed companion Muawiyah radiallahu anhu to the effect that the man of falsehood referred to here are sorcerers, and the implication is that one who keeps reading this surah becomes immune to the effect of black magic. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has also said that Shaytan flees from the house in which the surah is read or recited. Another hadith says that this surah is the apex of the Holy Quran, and that a retinue of 80 angels had accompanied each of its verses when it was revealed. The blessed companion Abu Hurayrah radiallahu anhu reports from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that there is a verse in the surah which enjoys a superiority over all the other verses of the Holy Quran, and that verse is the verse of the Kursi, Ayat al-Kursi. The blessed companion Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu says that 10 verses of the surah have such an efficacy that if one recites them at night, neither shaitan nor jinn would enter one's house, nor would one and one's family be afflicted with illness or calamity or sorrow that night, and that if they are recited over a man suffering from a fit of madness, his condition will improve. The 10 verses are these. The first 4 verses of the surah 3 verses in the middle, that is the Ayat al-Kursi and the 2 following verses, and the last 3 verses of the surah. This surah enjoys, with regard to its contents as well, a special distinction. Ibn al-Arabi reports from his elders that in this surah there are 1,000 injunctions, 1,000 prohibitions, 1,000 subtle points of wisdom, and 1,000 parables and references to historical events. That is why the great Caliph Umar radiallahu anhu spent 12 years in learning and meditating over this surah. And the blessed companion Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu spent 8 years to learn it. As we have said, the Surah Al-Fatiha is the gist and the essence of the Holy Quran. It deals with 3 basic themes. Firstly, the affirmation of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu wa Amma Nawaluhu as the Lord, Rabb of the universe. Secondly, the affirmation that Allah Jalla Jalaluhu wa Amma Nawaluhu alone and none else is worthy of being worshipped. Thirdly, the prayer for guidance. Thus, the Surah Al-Fatiha ends with the request for the straight path, and the whole of the Quran is, in fact, an answer to this request. This is to say, the man who seeks the straight path will find it only in the Holy Quran. Hence, it is that the Surah Al-Fatiha is immediately followed by the Surah Al Baqarah, which begins with the words, "That is the book," indicating that this book is the straight path one has been seeking and praying for. Having defined the nature and function of the Holy Quran, the surah proceeds to state in a very brief manner the basic principles of the Islamic faith, namely oneness of God, prophethood and hereafter, Tawheed, Risala, Akhirah. These principles have been presented in detail at the end of the surah. In between, the surah lays down the basic principles and sometimes even secondary rules in detail for providing guidance to man in all spheres of life, modes of ibadah, worship, ethics, individual and social behavior, economic relationships, ways and means of improving oneself externally and internally.